What are they going to do with their free time? All I saw was this mass of people, growing and growing and growing. And they had no reason not to grow because the arrogance was spectacular. And the people that were aiding and abetting this were the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. My neighbors in Hollywood and the Manhattan Island of people who take helicopters to Montauk, East Hampton, and Sag Harbor and tell us not to have SUVs. The most obnoxious people in the history of the world, and that is not hyperbole. The director of a $300 million film lecturing me not to go to Costco and buy 10-pound Pignola pine nut things because it's going to hurt the environment. It's ridiculous. Where was I? So I knew that on Monday they were going to have a lot of free time, and I was frantic, and I was in my house, and I had C-SPAN on, and I was on Twitter, and I was like Bruno in Fame. You remember he had like multiple setups. You go, how does he do two of those things at the same time? But that's how I am on the internet. And I'm like, this is crazy. I can't believe what's going on here. I can't believe they're going to do this. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And I started getting tweets from the Huffington Post that the Tea Party hurled racial epithets at the members of the Black Congressional Caucus. I'm going to take my jacket off for this one because I get really overheated when I talk about this one. Okay. Thank you. So Monday is coming, and I'm like, they're going to do something, and I knew the second that I saw that Huffington Post tweet, I go, here they go. This is planned, this is manufactured. This is planned, this is manufactured. There's no way that the Tea Party, on the day before they pass this bill, is going to, in an orchestrated way, start hurling the N-word at the Congressional Black Caucus. There's no way in hell, unless one of their infiltrate the Tea Party, crash the teaparty.org a-holes are going to be there to do it on our behalf. There's no way. I've been to too many Tea Parties. That's not America. That's not America, and they don't know what America is. They're elites. They go to Montauk, Sag Harbor. I literally know this. Diane Sawyer can't even drive 2 hours. She takes her private plane from New Jersey to go with Mike Nichols to go to the Hamptons. These people hate you. How do I know? They're my neighbors. They hate you. And so immediately everybody's writing it. McClatchy writes, it was just a disgusting scene from 1964, and these Tea Party people started yelling, hurling racial epithets, and it was just ugly. And the Republican Party apologized for this group of people. I'm like, what are you talking about? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? I cannot find one person who is there. One person. I'm losing my mind. They telegraphed that they were doing this. Who didn't expect that they had a trick in their pocket? Infiltrate the Tea Party, crash the Tea Party. John Podesta has a lot of money to spend from a guy from Hungary that takes down economies. He's in the middle of taking down our economy, and they are doing the most mischievous crap you can possibly imagine. They're going to do something about this amassing group of people, and this was it. How do I know? Atmospherics. I live in Hollywood. They staged this thing. You have the most obnoxious people in the history of Congress walking together in groups, okay? You have Barney Frank walking amid this group. You know they have tunnels going underneath the congressional buildings to the Capitol, okay? These people who for the last 2 years have warned us through a Department of Homeland Security report that we're all Timothy McVeigh. If we're all Timothy McVeigh, why are you walking amongst us? And why are some of you, walking like this with cameras, like you're at Lion Country Safari, like we're freaks? Who are these people? They're Americans. They're pissed off. They're going to have to pay for this thing. And so you've got the Congressional Black Caucus. You have Andre Carson, Cleaver, and Lewis. Civil rights legend, civil rights legend, civil rights legend, civil rights legend. How many times do I have to prove the point? But he's a civil rights legend. Well, civil rights legends can lie too. And they can squander their civil rights legend. And they can go and they can blame Nancy Pelosi for using his civil rights legend in order to create this false mythology. Thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for screwing John Lewis's life. You put him up to this trick, and look, now he's a national embarrassment. Sorry. How do I know? What they did, and this is important, this has been a long night, and thank you for indulging me, but this is important to understand. Saul Alinsky has a lot of tactics. One of his tactics, which is rule number 13, is to isolate a person. Think, I don't know, Sarah Palin, the day after she's elected, let's pull a Linda Tripp on her. Let's destroy her. It's not to destroy Linda Tripp. It's not to destroy Sarah Palin. That's where they just get their jollies in destroying these people's individual lives. It's to send a message to good and decent people who are reflective of Sarah Palin and Linda Tripp's normalcy, to tell you, okay, you can get into the political realm, you can become a whistleblower, but you're going to have this treatment. That's why they do it, to send the message that this is what's going to happen to you. And so, the one thing that the Tea Party had going for it from the very beginning, that the Alinskyite left, and George Soros, I could just imagine John Podesta going, what am I going to do? How am I going to destroy the Tea Party? It doesn't have a leader. It doesn't have a head. It doesn't have a head. What are we going to do? And for a year, well, let's just call it racist. Let's just issue government reports that they're violent. And it didn't work because we kept coming out, keep coming out, bring more people, because that is what they're afraid of. They want to stop us from coming out. They want us to stop from putting our heads out there. The more, the merrier, and we get to mock them, folks. Let's get into the mockery business after November. But what they figured out was Saul Alinsky analyzed structures. He would go to a college campus and figure out what's the weak link within the political structure of this campus. He'd figure it out and he'd exploit it. He'd just walk into the provost office and say, free ice cream for everybody until, the next semester. And the provost, like our politicians, would say, fine, leftists, whatever you want. And that's how we've gotten to where we've gotten. The Saul Alinskyites have gone in and used these tactics and intimidated people into giving them the keys to the operation, and that's what's happened. They realized that the Tea Party was impossible to use Alinsky Rule 13, but they also realized that it didn't have a central command center. And so that if you accuse the Tea Party of being a mass murderer, let's just say that take the willful acts of horror of Angelo Bono and Kenneth Bianchi, the Hillside Strangler. I grew up, it was horrifying. I was 10 years old. I still have nightmares. If they accused us of being the Hillside Strangler, none of us have the ability to say, we're not the Hillside Strangler, because we're millions of Americans. None of us can speak on behalf of the whole. Some of us are going, maybe we are. I don't know. I don't know the guys in Kansas City and Wichita. Maybe they kill people and dump them on the side of a hill. And so when we heard that the N-word was hurled, but I didn't hear it. Did you hear it? Do you know anyone that heard it? We called our friends, and they called 2 friends, and so on and so on. And there wasn't a single person that was there that heard it. And so it's Monday, it's Tuesday, and the mainstream media turns this into the most important story in the history of the world. And I'm like, oh my God, these people, they're all racist. What are we going to do? Michael Steele, well, let's apologize. John Boehner, what do we do? Oh, I think we should apologize. There you go. You apologize for something that we didn't do. Where's the investigation? Where are the objective journalists that tell me, no, it's not 2 sources with you. You need 63 sources. Oh, you didn't go to that day at Columbia Journalism School. They always change the goalposts for the other side.